Okay, let me continue the lecture on Maximo Viola and Jose Rizal. So, as I was saying in the first video, the friendship between Maximo Viola and Jose Rizal practically materialized when they embarked on the tour of Europe. That was when Jose Rizal finally published Noli Me Tangere. And to finance the first publication, publication of the first copies, Maximo Viola was the one who lent him 300 pesos to pay the printers, no? And the Noli Me Tangere was then dedicated to him. Even so, the pen with which he used to write the novel, he gave to the patron or to the patron named Maximo Viola. Maximo Viola has his own accounts and it's even online. You can find in one account that he had his own journal or memoir about the Rizal experience in Europe. Now, the one thing I'd like to highlight in the connection between the two is the fact that after the Noli Me Tangere was published and copies were sent to the Philippines, eventually the Spanish authorities banned the circulation of the books or the book itself. So when the news arrived in Spain regarding the impact or the negative publicity that it had, Maximo Viola once asked the national hero to be, no, Jose Rizal, whether he was considering changing his nationality because the Spanish authorities were really, in a way, hunting him, no, and they would not leave any stone unturned until Rizal would yield to them. So Maximo Viola pitched the idea whether Rizal would like to have a citizenship abroad in order to lessen the impact of this controversial novel. And did you know what the fellow doctor told him or told Viola? In his accounts, Maximo Viola was saying that it's cowardice, according to Rizal, to just even consider that because, according to the account, he accepted the fate of the ant or langgam. Tinatanggap niya yung kapalaran niya na parang isang langgam na pag nakakagat daw siya, kumakagat hanggang sa mamatay ito. So, it's like I was just struck by the whole metaphor or the comparison of Rizal to that kind of insect, no? So, in other words, considered himself very tiny because of the magnitude of the iron, the magnitude of the Spanish hierarchy that he was subverting, that he was protesting against through the novel. But he also was clear in telling us with a clear metaphor that just like the ant that bites to the death. So in other words, he was not a coward indeed. He was a professed courageous soul because likening himself to a very small but almost negligible, no? So I also would like to pose that question for you. Is that metaphor for himself a fitting metaphor? In the sense that is he a really tiny character in the Philippine history? And then is that a correct appropriation of his own impact on the Spanish hierarchy or status quo? The metaphor can be good, but yes, it can also be thought of as something not accurate in many levels, no? So, but if the novelist himself said that he's like that, or insinuating that he's like that, it's just that just makes us think that he really knew what I was doing. He was really impassioned to commit his life, to laying down his life to the country. By the account of Maximo Viola alone, we are able to infer and assume about Rizal's bravery and real valor or courage. Yes, putting out those words in the novel, into the novel itself, is a brave act. But also, since he knew the ramifications or the consequences of his actions, that's why he's prepared to say these things. That if we'll back down, if we will recoil, if we will be urong-sulong in a way, with the way he started these things, it's really pure cowardice. So I'm just amazed by the bravery of this spirit. Judging from the first-hand account of his fellow propagandist alone. Okay, and finally, let me say this. Maximo Viola himself, after the death of Rizal, has committed or had committed himself to the same patriotism, no? To the same level of patriotism. He also served as a doctor in the barrios. He worked for the welfare of the underprivileged at the time of the American occupation. History pages will see him now as someone who also contributed much, just like Melchor Aquino or Tandang Sora at the time of Andres Bonifacio, some decades earlier. No? Maximo Viola, doctor, when he returned to the Philippines, practiced as a doctor, but also served as or made use of his profession to benefit the revolution. So just focusing on the lives of these two and the brief tours, the brief lives they had together in Europe, is inspiring enough to say that yes, Maximo Viola shared a slice of life with this great man Rizal, but also was inspired to do the same, based on their conversations alone, based on their brief lives together abroad. So that's how brief their lives were, especially Rizal, but that's also how impactful they have had on each other. So with that, I'd like to end this video lecture, and I hope the material would give you a richer idea of the life of this man, Jose Rizal. I'll see you online later. Okay. That's all for now, and thank you. Be safe, everybody.